My name is Lauren Ray, and I am going to be discussing the PE curriculum at Chase Street Elementary. I student taught at Chase Street from January 7th to March 3rd of this year. My mentor teacher was Coach Jennifer Whaley. Coach Whaley is a 40-year-old female. She has 3 children, 2 of which attend Chase Street Elementary. She is a University of Georgia Health and PE graduate with over 20 years experience in the field. Our class sizes would range from 16 to 25 students. Each of those classes would see PE 50 minutes once a week, with our exception to that being our pre-K class, who saw 30 minutes once a week. Each day, we would see 6 to 7 classes depending on where our planning period fell throughout the week. The written curriculum states, our primary objective is to educate the whole child through movement and assist in the development of a physically educated person. We believe that a child's moving and learning are inextricably interwoven. Psychomotor, affective, and cognitive competencies can all be attained through a comprehensive elementary physical education program. All children have the capability to become efficient, effective, joyful, and confident movers. We know that only those adults who are competent movers and physically educated have the best chance to be physically active for a lifetime. So, looking at the curriculum itself, the curriculum uses Children Moving, the textbook, as its instructional framework. There are 3 main components of this curriculum, which are skill themes, movement concepts, and fitness concepts. Each lesson uses scaffolding in a way that breaks down the information, structures it in a way that students can better understand. Scaffolding is seen curriculum-wide in a way that at each grade level, the curriculum compounds upon itself, resulting in students leaving 5th grade with a very comprehensive understanding of the entire curriculum. Health-related fitness components are stressed within each individual lesson, and each lesson contains interdisciplinary information. So it is very common to see math being taught here, anatomy, vocabulary, all being taught within these physical education lessons. So this is an example of how scaffolding is seen across the multiple grade levels. So this is an example from a volleyball unit. This is the first lesson. I was able to help teach this lesson, so that was really fun. That was a great experience. So looking at our pre-Kers, they only have 30 minutes of PE once a week, so it's very important that we get them in and get them moving as quick as possible and as long as possible. So we chose a tag game here in that it required very little instruction, and the students were able to have a very high rate of activity. So during our tag game, we were able to really stress honesty, fair play, communication, and cooperation. So looking at our kindergarten lesson, striking a balloon using various body parts here, the students explored how their strike would affect the balloon. So for instance, if I strike the balloon from the bottom, where is that balloon going to go? It's going to go up. What if I strike the balloon from the top? Where is it going to go? It's going to go down. If I strike the balloon on the side, if I strike the balloon hard, if I strike the balloon soft. So here the students were able to build a fundamental knowledge of how their strike affected the balloon. So building upon that in the 1st and 2nd grade lesson, again we were looking at striking a balloon using various body parts, but here, because the students already had that fundamental understanding of how their strike would affect the balloon, we were able to add in fun challenges for the students. So for example, strike your balloon in the air and perform as many jumping jacks as possible before allowing your balloon to hit the ground. Okay, so the students would already have that fundamental knowledge, knowing that they would need to strike the balloon from the bottom, and they would need to strike the balloon as hard as they can so that the balloon will go up and stay in the air as long as possible, giving them the most time to perform the most jumping jacks. Looking at our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade lesson, here we focused on the forearm pass in volleyball, which is a sport-specific skill. The scaffolding in that lesson would take place. It would begin as a health-related fitness concept being taught. Then we would move on into an introduction to volleyball and an introduction to the forearm pass itself. We would look at the skill cues used to perform the forearm pass. We would go over the skill cues as a class, and then we would move into the skill practice. So the students would look at forearm passing to themselves or to the wall. The forearm passes, the lesson would then progress to seeing the students forearm pass to a target. In this case, it was a hula hoop in front of the students. The students would forearm pass their volleyball, aiming to have the volleyball land in the hoop. And then we would progress further into having the students forearm pass off of a partner toss. So this allowed the students to practice their forearm pass in an unpredicting and ever-changing environment. So here the students had to react to the pass being thrown to them, move so that they were in the right position to perform their forearm pass. And finally, we would close out the lesson with the students playing a small-sided game that really emphasized using their forearm pass, communication, teamwork, just a fun way to wrap up their skill practice and really showcase what they've learned in the forearm pass lesson. So looking at our accuracy analysis, I did find the information to be accurate. Academic language was used throughout the curriculum and throughout the instruction itself, which was really awesome to see. So instead of referring to our striking lesson as hitting a balloon with a noodle, Coach Whaley would make a point to tell the students that we were going to strike the balloon using a short-handled implement. So this really broadened their vocabulary, introduced them to some new words, and gave them a better understanding of what we were doing, what we were learning here in the physical education class. So in the curriculum, the lessons were written around national and state specific standards, and I did find the text to be reliable. Children Moving is a great resource, and the online sources used were from other health and PE professionals. So I did find those to be very reliable as well. The acceptability analysis. I did find the lessons of the entire curriculum to be free of judgment or bias. It's a very eclectic group of students and teachers at Chase Street, so it's not an environment where that type of behavior would be tolerated. And one thing maybe unique about Chase Street is that there is no adapted PE class. So all of the students of all ability levels are in the classes together. So what really helped there was having planned modifications and planned challenges for each activity so that students of all ability levels could find ways to be successful within the lesson. Conclusion. So I did find the curriculum to be effective. I drew this conclusion based on studying the written curriculum and then also watching the lessons myself, seeing the instruction firsthand, and seeing the student learning and understanding that takes place within those lessons. I found the curriculum to be rooted in well-sourced, reliable information. Its use of scaffolding, I think, is what really helps these students build that deep understanding of the curriculum. They're able to really draw conclusions and make connections because they better understand the information. And another thing that I think really played a role here in the curriculum's effectiveness is its planning and consideration taken into planning and developing each lesson. So you can really tell while watching the instruction, while reading the lesson plan, that these plans were made with the students of Chase Street in mind. Strengths of the curriculum are its factual information, its grade level appropriate objectives, and the activity design. So the activities are just designed in a way that promotes student success, and it really gives the students the most time possible to practice these skills. Weaknesses of the curriculum. The curriculum is out of date. It was written in 2008. It's over 12 years old. It really should be updated. And the curriculum includes little to no formal assessments. So I was there for 2 months, and the only formal assessment that I saw was the administering of the fitnessgram. So that's not to say that no assessment whatsoever was being done, because there was constant informal assessment throughout every lesson. I feel the rate of informal assessment by way of teacher observation and specific feedback and corrections was like at the highest rate of any PE program that I've had the opportunity to observe in my time here during the program. So extremely high rates of feedback, extremely thorough, informal observation. However, like I said, little to no formal observation. So my recommendations for the curriculum would be to update it to reflect the most commonly used lessons. This would just give the reader a better understanding of what the lessons are like today at Chase Street, because after comparing what I see to what I read in the curriculum, the lessons are a little different. I would like to see the use of more formal assessments. So I watched 2 units, a basketball and a volleyball unit, begin and end, and I saw no formal assessments through them. So even by way of pre and post testing, just to see what have factual data of what your students have learned, I think that would be easy to implement, and it would really help Coach Whaley better understand what her students know and what they're still struggling with. And finally, I would like to see the integration of technology into the PE classroom. So Chase Street is very forward-thinking in the technology front, in that a lot of the students already had their own personal laptop that they were able to take home and complete schoolwork on before this remote teaching happened. So I think the school itself would be extremely on board with the integration of technology into the PE classroom, and it would definitely help boost student engagement. So that is it, and if you have any questions, just let me know.